Welcome to Season 3. Now, Season 3 of On the Couch with Kelly is about our road trip that we're doing at the moment in Vegas. And so we're going through Brisbane, Service Paradise, Tambourine Mountains, Reedy Creek, Ballina, and then back to Newcastle. So this is Season 3 on the road, so I hope you enjoy it as much as the others that we've done. So today I've got Ryan Lowe with me. I love our Ryan, all the way from Brisbane. And we're going to be talking to Ryan about what it's like living with, or what he's had to go through as a young adult and a young person living with ADHD, and just, you know, some of the situations that have arisen because of the illness, and we'll call it an illness or a disability because it does affect lots of aspects of your life, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it has from a young person. So how old are you now, Ryan?
26.
Even though I know that because I'm like your auntie, but, you know, for those that don't know. So 26. So when were you first diagnosed with ADHD? Do you know?
Probably when I was 2-ish.
Yeah, 2-ish, yeah. And
Yeah.
I do remember you when you were that old, and yeah.
Bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, you were, and, you know, swinging from the rafters.
Yeah.
So what's your early memory of, like, how you were? Did you think that you were different from other young people that you, like, went to school with, or?
Well, I was always on my own, but it was more of a choice thing. I didn't want to talk to people or be around people or do any of that social things.
So did you have, like, a close network of friends, like just a
I
few?
had one.
One good mate?
Yeah, that was about it.
Okay, and so he knew, or, I mean, did you even know what you were going through, like, way back then when you were a kid?
I woke up, took the pills my parents put in front of me, and
then got on with life.
carried on being mate, yeah.
So, like, as a young teenager, did you feel different than?
No, it was more or less the same. I was me, that was it. Wasn't going to put myself out to make other people happy. And
So was school a bit of a challenge for you, going to school, or did you
yeah, for multiple reasons, like if I'm not interested in something, yeah,
They've lost you.
lost me completely.
Yeah, which is all
And
part of it.
that was basically the entirety of school. But other than that, I got along with people, but I didn't go out of my way to socialise. It was never an interest.
So from being a young person and schooling, and that wasn't your interest. And did you have any aspirations, like what you want to do when you, well, so they say, when you grow up and be an adult?
Not really. I never thought about it. I could never picture myself later in life. Like, people can say, oh, in 5 years I want to be here doing this. I could never do that. I could never see past what was happening that minute.
Yeah, the today factor.
Yeah, and it's still kind of the same. I can't really envision anything about the future.
Okay, so, and I heard you say you took all the meds that Mum and Dad gave you to have, so you always were medicated.
Yeah.
And you felt that helped you at that stage?
Well, I didn't know any different, so I took it every day and that was it.
Yeah. Okay, so then, like, you're in high school and you're figuring that school isn't for you. Is that what you're figuring to yourself? Like,
pretty much. At the end of grade 10, I wanted to go be a butcher, but my parents wanted me to finish 11 and 12. So I stayed in school 11 and 12, but I slept through most of the classes. Did as much as I could just to get C's. Leave things the last minute to do, just to.
Because you had no interest.
Yeah, I had no interest in
you didn't want to be there.
No.
So then you left school, and then what did you do?
I became a school-based apprentice heavy vehicle mechanic in year 12, and did that for 10 years.
Wow. So through that 10 years, were you happy doing, like, because I know I have a family member that suffered, and I know that they like a job or something that they do where it's exactly the same thing every day, and they like that routine.
I don't like that.
You don't like that, so
No.
you like something changing all the time.
Yeah.
So how did you stay in a job for like 10 years?
Basically, miserably, and just did it.
For 10 years?
Yeah.
And did you think about, like, I know you said before you didn't think in the future, but did you ever think about what else you were going to do, or did you believe that this was what you would do forever?
It was the first apprenticeship that popped up on the search. I just went into it, and because the parents always drove in you work, you come home, you do your things around the house, you go to sleep. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you do the things around the house.
So that obviously worked for you.
And it was just, I was pretty much go in, do the job, go home. Go in, do the job, go home. There was never a big interest factor in it. It was just that's the way of life, that's what you do.
So what do you today understand what ADHD is all about?
From what I've been looking at, it's the central nervous system's inability to create serotonin levels on an average scale. So because the nervous system doesn't create the serotonin, you're more likely to feel the negative emotions, depression, anxiety, stress, sadness, anger, and all that stuff. And that's what basically Ritalin does. It forces your central nervous system to create more serotonin.
So that's the drug that you've been on?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, and you found that it worked for you?
Yeah.
So it made you happy. Did you have any...
Well, it's not happy. It's just not as much negative emotion.
Right, okay. So how do you cope with that? Like as an adult, as a young adult, because you're a young adult now. So how did you cope with the feelings? Like, because I'm trying to understand it too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make it so that, my viewers out there are getting a feeling for what you'll live through.
I'll tell you the full story. I took myself off Ritalin when I was 16, and after that time I was constantly on antidepressants and mood balances and all sorts of things, because the smallest niggle would just get me really angry.
So that's what you do, you escalate into an anger.
Yeah, and the smallest thing could just send me right off the scale. And basically got to a point a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I was just getting angrier and angrier and angrier about work, about things that were happening. Like, I was just like, I'm in this job I don't enjoy. I'm doing all these things I don't like. I have no control over what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's happening. And it was just building and building and building. And got suicidal, and talked to me family, and we all went down to the psychologist. And
so you went to your
Ritalin.
family. You went to your family and told them what you were thinking and at that stage and how you were, and
yeah,
that's beautiful that you can do that. And I think a lot of people have got to take into consideration or how important it is to have a family member or a friend that you can trust, that you can go to and tell them everything so they know what's going on.
Well, it's a big thing about be open and honest, because that was one of my problems, and it still is to a point, but well, everyone does it day to day. Someone goes, oh, how's it going? You go, yeah, all right. When you're not all right, there's something happening. But you just go, I don't want to get into the conversation. I don't want to have to explain. I don't want it to drag on to be a huge deal. Yeah, all right.
So
instead of the yeah, all right,
yeah,
tell them exactly what you really feel, and even if it does go into a long conversation,
Yeah, tell them.
long explanation, because the "yeah, all right" doesn't do anything. It just pushes it aside.
So you were saying then that you spoke to your family and you said, right, it's time to go to a doctor and get some help.
Yeah, my mother called up the doctor down the corner and he put me onto a This is a psychiatrist. Who's the doctor one?
Yeah, the doctor that can give you the medication,
Yeah,
psychologist.
he put me onto the psychiatrist.
Right, okay. So
Because I've been to psychologists before, and it's just, oh, how does that make you feel? It's like, crap, obviously. But nothing they ever did really got me to connect.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I never...
Connect with, you mean life and society?
Well, just answers mainly. Like, there was always the question, why am I getting so angry about things that I know don't matter? Well, it's because my serotonin levels are imbalanced. And having a different view on life won't change that. So I needed the medication.
And you were able to, work that out yourself?
Well, eventually.
Yeah. So how long did that take you to get to that stage?
Oh...
So you were 16 when you went off the meds?
Yeah.
Did you tell your parents?
They were on board with it. But as I said, 17, 18, I was on one antidepressant, and that had helped the anger, but I'd still have the anxiety attacks. So then I'd go back and get on another antidepressant, and that got rid of the anxiety, but then I'd get the anger back and the stress, and then I'd go on another one that dealt with the anxiety and the anger, but then I'd get into a really big depression, and then the antidepressant would fix one thing, but not the whole thing. And, I got to the point where I was suicidal, and then got to the psychiatrist. He put me on the ADHD thing, and that's balanced all of it.
All right, so you found the right medication that works for you.
Yeah, I had to treat the ADHD to treat the anxiety, depression and anger and stress. And
right, so it's a different treatment now because you're an adult, whereas before you were a young person.
No, it was still the same treatment, but...
different doses?
It was more I didn't realise that those three things were stemmed from the ADHD.
Right. So if you were having if you were having an anxiety attack, and I can't understand. I mean, I've had anxiety because I've got a bit agitated about a meeting that I had to go to, and I felt like I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, the adrenaline starts pumping, the heart starts beating. So you start to think of different ways the conversation will go, different ways the conversation will end, what they could say, what they might say, what they may not say.
So you overanalyze it.
That's basically what anxiety is.
So how would you get yourself out of that situation?
You can't really. You can not worry about it, but that's not the most insightful answer to the question. I still get anxiety attacks over things, but I'm just like...
What works for you now, though?
What will happen, and there's no amount of pre-thought that you can do to know what will happen.
Yeah, so if you're telling yourself that, you can eventually get through the whole thing.
Well, you'll get through it nevertheless.
Yeah.
If they ask a question, they'll ask the question. If they don't ask the question, they won't ask the question.
So if there's someone at home now and they're going through a similar situation as you, I just say they're a young person, whether it be male or female, and they've lived a life as a young person going through it, and they've gone off their medication, and maybe they've seen some signs that they feel that I should be doing something about it. What would be one thing that you would say to them? Like just a message, like I know I ask for a message of hope normally at the end, but this is the right time for me to ask this, because I think is a really valuable piece of information. If someone is at home now, maybe they don't even really understand what's going on with them. What would you say to that person?
First off, talk openly and honestly with your family and friends if they're close and you have a good relationship with them. Secondly, get back on your medication for it as quickly as possible, because once you balance yourself out, you'll start to be more rational about things. And thirdly, whatever worries you the most, whether it's economics, your family life, your religious beliefs, whatever, watch university lectures and get all the information you can about it, because if you get all the information you can come to a logical and rational conclusion about it. If you don't have the information, you stress and worry about it.
So one person, I believe, that worked for you, that's something that you looked up on YouTube with university lecturers and that, was, who was that gentleman?
Professor Jordan Peterson, a Canadian psychologist. He was a clinical psychologist with hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I watched his series, The Psychological Significance of the Biblical Stories. I watched his university lectures on maps of meaning, watch his lectures on biological psychology, family psychology, all that kind of things. And he basically breaks down everything into a metaphorical message and how you can use that metaphorical message in your own life and how you should act according to that metaphorical message to basically live truthfully. Because if you live truthfully, then you hear the saying, caught in a lie. You lie, and then you've got a lie to cover up the lie, and then you've got a lie to cover up the lie about covering up the lie.
You've got to have a damn good memory to keep it going.
Exactly, where if you're just straightforward, truthful, factual, to the point, there's no repercussions, there's nothing else that can add on to the stress. And if you do speak truthfully, openly and honestly to people that are close to you and care for you, they're going to help you. There's no ifs, buts or maybes about it. If they care for you, and you know they do, and you're honest with them, they will help you.
Okay, well, I mean, that sounds pretty sensible to me at this time, and I'm sure that, you know, there's people out there now that are probably even starting to think about perhaps they've had these tendencies and they didn't really know what's wrong with them. I mean, the thing is, go to a doctor and check it out. I mean, that might be your first step. Or, you know, if you've got problems and you're overthinking things, perhaps you can speak to someone at Lifeline. There are other organisations in your state or your town that can help you out with whatever's going on in your world. So it makes sense to me to go and get help.
And so, even with your doctor, tell them everything you're feeling and going through. Because as with me, I'd tell them I was feeling angry, so they'd treat my anger. Then the anger would go away. I'd go, okay, I'm feeling anxiety now, so they'd treat the anxiety. I wouldn't tell them I'm feeling anger sometimes, random anxiety attacks other times, some panic attacks here and now, and all these other things. It was what was happening in the moment, I'd tell them, and that was it. So they'd treat that. So you've got to tell them everything that you've felt across the whole time.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too. And I mean, we've been talking prior to us recording the show, and you know, a question that I asked you, because you have made a decision to go on to uni.
Still in the works, but yes.
That's
hopefully.
a great little step forward, I'm telling you, yeah. So,
well, I can't be a labourer anymore, so I've got to use the only thing I've got left, which is my mind.
Because you hurt your back at work, is that right?
I hurt my back, lost a lot of weight. I'm just not physically as fit or strong as I was. Smallest amount of labour and the bulging disc presses on the nerves in my spine and just pain everywhere.
So you've had to give up work,
Yeah.
and you've, with your beautiful partner, you've gone out and you built a home, and now you're selling the home and moving back in with mum and dad.
Yep.
So that's going to make life easier for you in
Yeah.
order for you to go through uni. So
Less stress, a little bit of money to retrain myself to get back into the workforce.
and you've got the love and support of your family to help you get through it too. If if something does get you a little bit down, at least you've got your support service or system around you, which is love.
Yeah.
Which is always the best, I say.
Mm.
Yeah, so when you're going through a really hard time, like, it's so wonderful to have, surround yourself with lovely, caring people. And, if you've only got one or two of those, hey, just target those one or two beautiful friends or family members, because, that's what will get you through.
And if you do have people that you know are bringing you down, it's best to cut them out.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. When you're in a certain state in your own life, and it doesn't matter what state you're in, but I mean, if you are in a certain state in your life and things aren't going well, and, look at those people that don't bring you the love and happiness in your life. Like, look at people that value add to your life. And I don't mean in money or anything like that. I mean just in love and support. They're the people that you need to surround yourself with.
The people who are actually concerned about your downsides, and people who are actually happy for you about the positives.
Yeah, so each and every week, I get lots of people that come on board and watch the show, and they support me, and each and every week I thank a lot of you, but unfortunately I can't thank everyone. So I've just got a couple of names today, and I know we're on a different schedule because we are in Queensland and we are doing On the Road Series 3. But I'll say thank you, Shireen Lowe. Thank you, Larry Lowe. Amber Jane Sterling. Anne Egan Plazier. Marguerite Webb, thank you. Peter Bailey. Lainey Jarrett. Louise Morris-Armour. Sheena Briggs. Oh, thank you, Sheena. That's your sister, isn't it?
Yep.
Thank you, beautiful sister, Sheena. Georgina Harry, thank you for watching, because I know you're in Greece at the moment. So nice to know we've got some audience over in Greece. We've also got Jessica Wilcox. Thank you so much. And Trish Callier. Chris Rourke. Shireen Smith. Thank you, Shireen. Kayleen Moore. Cherie Jones. Thanks, Cherie. Sylvia Poulton, and your fingers are in the way there. And White, here we go. So Sylvia White, thank you so much. Philip Barrington, thank you for joining in. Sam Caldwell, thank you, Sam. Sam was on a couple of weeks ago. And Remy Castle. We've got Lynette Loader, we've got Sharon Sharp. Thanks, Sharon. Glad to see your computer working really well. And Louise Melrose, thank you so much. There are some of the people that have joined us today, and just look out, because we'll be doing a lot of random shows on the way. We've got some great people that we'll be talking with, and like I said, we're covering the areas like Brisbane, Surface, Reedy Creek, Tambourine Mountains and Ballina. So we'll be keeping you busy watching our show. So no matter what in life, do not give up. Surround yourself with beautiful, loving, gorgeous people in your life, and know that you're going to be okay. So it's thank you from me today. Bye for now, everyone.